from Turtle Quirk, and his characters that will be in it will be in this video. The timeline will be similar. Basically everything you saw in the first the first 10 minutes of the video will be in this video. So, but my character will not just be a random kid who just joined the gang. He will be introduced in basic My Hero Academia, which means he would be shown in the area arc, right between the area arc. So right between it. So actually, right there, Overhaul uses him because his quirk, Dark Energy, uses something malevolent. He has something called Dark Matter. He can manipulate anything. Which means he can create if you know Raven from Teen Titans, how she can make these giant hands out of Azarath energy, he can basically do that. He can also shoot beams from his hands. He can also throw these discs from his hands that he manipulates, but he can't yet. He also has an ability to throw energy balls, blasts. He's basically a Dragon Ball Z character who can go, but he can't do that yet. Right now he can just shoot basic energy blasts that don't do anything. He's a pretty sad kid. Who, well, basically is a depressed kid because, well, you know, it's a boy, and he isn't in the same room as Eri. He's just put in another bed that stands right next to hers. He'd usually try and defend Eri from Chisaki, but that don't work. Oh hell no, it don't work. Chisaki would just impale his leg. Every single time Christian would interfere, he'd impale his leg, then just instantly heal it, then do it like 5 times. The worst Christian got. Yet he no longer feels pain in his leg. If someone punches it, it doesn't hurt. But it will affect him. It's like he doesn't feel any pain, but it does affect him. So, let's go into the Chisaki arc. They would meet. Eri would run into Deku. But then an invisible blast, until it comes out, hits Deku in the face. He goes, "Gah!" As it's a soft blast, not too hard, as Deku just wipes it off his face, going, "What was that?" Christian goes, "Leave Eri alone." As he goes, "No, I'm not hurting her." As then he goes, then all he hears is, "Eri." Christian runs in front of him as he puts out a blast, putting it in front of Overhaul's face, which doesn't do anything, which Overhaul says, "You know what's going to happen." As he creates a quick spike and stabs it into his leg, he goes, Deku wants to interfere, but he can't. Mirio stops him, telling him that that's too far, even for a child. He goes, he needs to learn not to disrespect his seniors. As he says, "Come on, Eri, let's go." Christian walks forward. As when they're in the meeting, Deku says that Overhaul is 1,000,000,000% doing it. And Sir Night says, "I need to know your proof, Midoriya." And Rocklock says, "What do you know, kid, about this guy? You don't know anything. You're a child." Because remember, Rocklock's a big fat fucking jerk. Okay, he's not a jerk, but he's just doesn't like kids in the meeting. He's serious about his job. Deku says that Overhaul is abusive, as when the second kid put a blast to his face, it's a small blast, it wouldn't have done anything. He stabbed him right in the leg. But we could not interfere, or we would probably be dead. So we just had to let it go. Rocklock says so one of them he's using for testing, and the other one he just keeps there to take out his anger whenever the first one doesn't listen. He goes, basically, now let's just get on to it. So they would escape, and Christian and Eri move into the dorms. Everything would go pretty normal, and also Christian and Eri would be trained by Aizawa to get their hero training on. Christian would try and master his blasts, making them humongous. And let's go over a 7-year time skip, because remember, they'd be about 13, so how about a 8-year time skip? They would all be 14, because I'm pretty sure that's the age you get into high school. Yep, that's 100% the year. So, they attend UA. They would see a familiar... Oh yeah, Deku's a pro hero. already, because we know Deku's a pro hero. Probably going to be a pro hero in the next 7 years. Even though that video that he made came out before Deku went rogue. Not really rogue, but like left UA. So like Deku would just be an ominous hero who's not number 1, but he would be in the ranks about number 20. Because remember, this Deku is actually no, Deku would be about number 5. With Endeavor still leading in first, Hawks right behind him, a new face would come. And a new one, but we're not going to say it. I think Aizawa's popularity would kind of go up because of how famous Eraserhead kind of is. But no, I'm not going to say that. We're going to say that Tons of Heroes' popularity went up because of how good they did in the war and how much they helped the city. So it would be a tough competitor between Hawks and Endeavor. Hawks would eventually... People know eventually that Hawks is... Oh yeah, and Deku is 5, Bakugo is 6, Todoroki's 7, because Todoroki isn't really a big fan of becoming the number 1 hero. He just wants to be a hero. Or who never had the goals of his father to suppress All Might. Let's get into this. With this, it's time for the exam. And as Turtle Quirk said, as the UA entrance exam will be a fight against fake villains. How they do against villains. Christian will be there. The Acid Fog dude would be there from, you know, the Bakugo, Todoroki Kami crap. We also have the next one, which is... We also have Tamashira, the dude with, like, the bitey balls thingies. Basically the chain chomps. That kid that looks like a mini version of Bakugo. Pretty sure that's like his brother or some crap. We're not going to question it. Then we also have Kota, Katsuma. His sister would probably be a second year already because of how she's older than him. Oh yeah, Kota would be getting in. I'm just going to reverse Kota's age to be the same age as everyone. Now by far, when the exam would start, mostly everyone, except for Christian and Christian, Kota, Tamashira, and Eri and Katsuma would not really be scared. Everyone else would be frightened that there's villains. The Acid Kid would, the Dust Kid, the Ash Kid would shoot out, of course, as you know, smoke, black smoke, which would block the enemies. Christian would create 2 discs and throw them. As Christian asks if there's killing allowed. And Eri would ask why would he say such a thing, and he says because most of my attacks will kill the enemy. And he says go as hard as you want, you won't defeat them. As I think they'd also go against a pro hero, Gang Orca. Christian would battle, all of them would battle Gang Orca. Christian with 2 blasts in his hand pulls off a Gogeta and front flip spins in the air and throws them going, "Hah! Ah!" These had barely been hit, Gang Orca, barely been doing anything to him. He goes, "Ah!" Pulling off a God Punisher, which he's spamming energy blasts from his hands, which are hitting Gang Orca and actually starting to hurt him a little bit. As then Christian creates a giant blast from his hand and throws it, going, "Ah!" This collides with him, creating a humongous explosion. But Gang Orca is seeing nothing's wrong with him. Christian says, "Eri!" As Christian is actually wearing a scarf to help him. He wraps it around Gang Orca's neck, which he has trouble with because he's an orca, duh. And Gang Orca would just rip it off. We'll just pull it off. We'll try and pull it off, but it wouldn't work. Eri would reverse him. Would be able to reverse time a little bit, so Christian would be able to get a stronger grip, and he rips it forward, choking him. Kota being able to shoot high-pressure blasts, launches one, hitting Gang Orca, cutting him a little bit. He goes, Katsuma just starts shooting. Katsuma would activate a thing called, we'll just start activating cell regeneration. Cell activation. Where he tries to heal up his teammates, as the goal is basically, the goal is pretty much to defeat all of them. The goal is actually really supposed to be just to defeat them. So, and also to help your teammates. Katsuma starts to heal Christian as he was blown back by Gang Orca. He says, thank you. He says, what's your name? He goes, I'm Katsuma. Christian says, do you know anyone else here? He goes, no, Christian asks, do you know who Mr. Deku is? And he says, I think so. I remember him. He was on the island and saved us all from a dangerous villain. Christian jokes around, asking if Deku broke any limbs. And he says, that's not really a good thing to joke about. Christian says, it's funny though, because all the time he used to break his bones. And somehow he made miraculous recoveries. Then they start to have a quick chuckle as Eri says, you two, come on! We can't let him get away! So Christian says, let's go! Katsuma! As they instantly blitz, Christian creates 2 discs and throws them, going, ah! Then he asks Kota if he knows who Deku is, and he says, yeah, what's it to you? Christian tells him that he knows him too, and asks if they ever want to do a combo attack. He's already gotten quickly friends with Katsuma and asks Kota if he wants to help. Kota says, sure, as he says, alright, as he whispers the strategy. As Kota says, that's a pretty good one. As Christian's really smart at strategizing. Christian with the scarf shoots it out. He says, that scarf reminds me of something, as it reminds him of Eraserhead's scarf. As Christian launches it, wrapping it around Gang Orca's goons as he throws them into the sky, as he goes, now Dark Matter Whip! As he throws them into a wall, as he says, there's more! As he goes, as he yells out, Claws of Azarath! As a black aura wraps around his claws. If you know Raven, of course she has the giant demon hands, as he goes, nah. Kota says, what the heck are those? He says, I call these dark matter demon hands. As he blitzes one of the men and punches them into a wall. As he grabs tons of them, stretching his arm out all the way, as he puts them on and starts to squeeze them. He says, Kota! He goes, yeah, as he shoots off their collars. As they're unconscious. As Eri's rewinding all these dudes, wrecking them, and Katsuma, wait, hold on. What did I call him again? Please tell me I didn't forget. Let's get into this next one. Hold on, give me a second. Tamashiro. Oh yeah, his name's Tamashiro. I don't know why I didn't know that. With fighting for a long time, they're really destroying all the heroes. Well, all kinds of the students, who aren't students like the examinees, are calling Christian a monster because of his hands and how weird they look. As he's destroying everyone, as he's starting to get down in the dumps, as he can't fight with people just insulting him over and over again. As he was remembering, as he says in his head,
hey Tracy, can't hear you over this flaming hot crunch. Chris.
He says to himself in his head, as he's remembering overall trapping him in its device which forces him still. As he says, as he gets even angrier, as his hair flows up in rage. As then he goes, as he creates a giant aura which bursts the arena, as everyone's shocked at it, as he goes, I am a monster and I know it, and I'm proud of it. As his hair flows up, as he's full powered, as he creates a giant crater, as there's an aura swirling him. Eri's like, whoa. Kota says, that's awesome! As Christian blitzes Gang Orca and lands a humongous punch which knocks him straight into a wall. Then he looks with demonic eyes and teeth. He looks at him going, He looks at them, in a demonic voice he says to them,
"Let me put you back together and take you apart all over again."
as they're scared.
See how many times you can be pulled apart.
As he looks at them going,
I assure you, I am very real.
as Eri and all of them are starting to get worried, because, like, that's kind of creepy. Like, it was cool how we got a power, but it's also starting to get creepy how powerful it is. In his voice, as he looks at them saying,
This time, there is more than an illusion to fear.
and he says to them
We
again,
know who our friends are, and you are not one of them.
as King Orca makes a giant sound, which is hurting everyone's ears. Christian goes, "Dang it!" As then he yells out, to combine it, to counter it, he tries to let out his own. As he goes, as he looks at them, as he's trying to do it, but it won't work. He's trying to fire back against his giant sound waves. Christian looks at him going, as that fires back against his wave, as then, oh yeah, and they also have a necklace which records how many people they've defeated, and Christian's got a score of 89, Koda with a score of 69, Eri with a score of 100, because while Christian has gone through that stupid that giant transformation, Eri's been knocking people unconscious. Katsuma has knocked out about 100 people, and Takashima, or whatever that dude's name is, Tashima. Christian goes, and he starts to cough. As he's starting to hurt himself, as it's not doing him any good. It's not doing any good, so he looks at him. He decides he's gonna yell even louder to hurt Gang Orca's ears. He looks at him going,
"Hey, I'm Jordan. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A's new lemon kale Caesar salad is how the texture..."
He looks at him going. He looks at him with a full power and roars. Not gonna lie, the Muto looks huge when it's in the shot, but it's really kind of small. Christian with that roar blitzes Gang Orca and hits him, knocking him into a wall. Then he grabs him and starts squeezing him. As Deku appears behind him, neck chopping him, saying that that quirk's way too dangerous. I thought he'd be able to control that by now, but I guess it's really hard. As he's ended off with a score of about 500,000. Eri the score of 1 million. Takashima, or whatever his name is, Takashima, has gotten a score of 1 million as well, and basically everyone else has like 750,000. Kota's got 69,000. 690,000. Katsuma's got a score of 1 million.